Hello everyone, MarcusWolfe here, welcoming you back to another episode of Disco Elysium. Last we left off, we did a couple of things. One, which is the most important, we brought down the poor, unfortunate soul, finally. God, it took so long to get that done, but we did it, yay! And that was after taking the shot and dying from it, because at that point when I took the shot, I had one last morale and it died. So I'm like, you know what, that's fine. We'll die with that. So it's like I never did it before, quote unquote. So I mean, it was a legit redo because I did die from it. I chose not to revive myself. So it was a legit redo. It's not like okay, load up another save and do it. And also we gained Kuno's trust. Boy, we learned some things about Kuno S. She quite possibly, well, let's not sugarcoat it. She quite possibly killed someone, possibly a child, and and that's the reason why she's like this. She is, her brain is defending herself against a perceived threat, which there is one, us as the police. So I can't fault her on that. I still don't like her because of the words she uses. Well, and I'm not saying the word she used, because of what she says. It's like, why don't you just put a gun to your mouth? It'll be quicker. It's like, girl, just stop. Stop being like that real life person, that real life high school girl or something whose words actually got her ex-boyfriend to decide to go bye-bye forever. Just stop saying those words. It's really distasteful. And I like the writers for this. They made her into a distasteful character. I appreciate that they were able to portray that, but God, her words are so distasteful. Anyway, enough about that. Who is this poor gentleman?
The rotting man lies on his side with his eyes looking straight through you. The belt is still around his neck. His body is supine and open to intrusion by autopsy. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
What exactly is a field autopsy?
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
Yeah, but my memory isn't what it used to be, remember?
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Mundi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Et puis descend, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
Thank you, Encyclopedia, but that is totally not what I want to know. What use are you as an encyclopedic mind, if you don't know?
You must have me confused with the Copperpedia.
Oh, really? Well, I'm sorry, then. Who in there is the Copapedia? I think I would like to have a word with him.
You, sir, you are the Copperpedia.
In other words, you're a cop-out. Thank you, Encyclopedia, for not telling me what a field autopsy is. Out of everything you've told me, you don't know what a field autopsy is. Thank you. Thumbs up. Do you have another pair of gloves?
Unfortunately, no.
Well, I do have gardening gloves. Think they're enough?
They are better than nothing. Tell you what, I perform the anatomical side of things while you will take notes.
We just, fill in this form, right? The field autopsy form?
That's right.
He nods.
You knew it because you inspected your ledger. The lieutenant is relieved you know the protocol.
Alright, well, let's go ahead and get started then.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with,
Well, assistant.
That's you.
Alrighty, initials HDB.
the corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says,
Coroner case number?
KK57-0803.0815.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals Precinct 57, followed by his date 0803 and time of arrival 0815 on the scene. He's indexed the case after himself, not you.
And that's fair. That's fair.
That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
Come on, we should already know it's me by now, okay? I mean, after all this. Yeah, you know what? The technicalities aside, it's fine. Let's just write it down.
Next,
Name?
we've heard the nom de guerre, Lely. It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Write it down.
Alrighty. Lely. Nom de guerre.
What's next? Date of birth?
Yeah, date of birth.
NA.
Age?
Roughly 50.
Try 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side.
Yeah, let's just go with Kim's. 50.
The corpse looks ageless, like meat on a hook. Teeming with opportunistic microorganisms, letting out a foul-smelling diamine compound. Your eyes turn watery.
Oh. Race?
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Mwindi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish.
Wow, so vague. Okay, let's just write it down.
The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Right, sex?
Fucky, fucky!
The little monster exclaims energetically.
Male.
Pigs can have sex!
Oh god, I can see where you may be going quick and then click! Because there's so many things happening around. We got one saying fucky fucky, the other say pigs want to have sex. No, male.
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
Date of death?
We're still going with March 4th, 51.
Okay. Wait, April 3rd? Oh, I'm sorry, this is British. Oh, Jesus. This is British styling, Jesus. Sorry, for those of you who don't know, I'm in America where we do month date. Apparently a lot of other places in the world it's month is date month. So that's why I'm like, wait, April 3rd? And that's why sometimes when I read documents, it's like, wait, is this the British format or the American format? Especially when it's like this, it's like 4-3. It's like, I don't know if this is in April or March.
What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
KK 57 0503 0815 listens motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
Evidence of treatment.
I'm not seeing anything yet, but we know there's tampering here. Write down, yes, non-visual, corroborated by witness. See report.
Alright.
Good.
The lieutenant falls silent again. He places his gloved hand on the corpse's chest, as if in preparation.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then,
We should start the post-mortem.
the corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
Alright, let's start with the beginning. External examination summary.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodin, I think. Let's see.
He turns the body onto its side to check the underwear label.
See, it's happening.
Babrodin, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
Yeah, well, sorry, Kuno S. I am highly disappointing you, am I? And I'm enjoying that.
The rest of the clothes have been removed post-mortem by scavengers in order to get to the victim's ceramic armor. Officers are in search of the missing pieces. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else.
Maybe, but when am I going to get them?
Patience. After the autopsy, before the body is taken away, there will be a window of opportunity. After the lieutenant has gone to sleep. I hope this has helped you, my liege.
Do I or do I not? Do I or do I not? Do I or do I not? Huh. I mean, what could the boots possibly help me with at this point in time? I mean, I don't even know where the helmet is. Although, I do have the thing that says to get all pieces of the armor. Well, there have been many scavengers at this point. I mean, by the time someone comes to collect the body, someone could have mysteriously taken the boots. I mean, this poor guy's been looted to hell and back already. Let's just omit it.
The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design. Tattoos.
He stands up, feet planted on either side of the body.
The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo resembling a microelectronical circuit board. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene using a Trigat Mini. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow. Length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age, about 50. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature, below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short. Lividity appears consistent with hanging, but is not. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head and chest, consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation. Ligature mark.
The lieutenant produces a small folding knife. With the other hand pulling on the belt, he starts cutting into the polyester. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut.
The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You've got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Well, I guess it's a good thing we got these chain cutters then, huh?
Always good to think ahead. Now,
He points to the rope squeezing at the dead man's neck.
we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
let's try to look for a good spot to cut first, because apparently I have horrible physical instrument.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the east.
Oh, that sounds so disgusting.
The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now, like a flower arranger. 2 cuts and it should come loose.
Well, that's cool. I just got instructions and it helped me a lot. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, interfacing. So, 3, 6, 5 or higher.
After
Oh my
some
god,
maneuverings,
barely.
You sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together, sweat forming on your brow.
Why do I always do these skill checks right at the wire? Like, why?
Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck.
The lieutenant has kneeled closer, running his finger along the dark red groove, until there's a gap.
Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters.
Well done. Sounds like it would have thrown us off if we didn't know.
That he was dead? Yes. They moved fast. This is a good treatment. Chest is intact. Normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant. Pelvis intact. Genitalia...
He pulls down the man's underpants.
No! Let's get out and see!
I fucking knew it!
This is clearly what they've been waiting for, ever since the autopsy began. The lieutenant is trying to make it as boring as possible.
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
Just write it down and move on.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
Yeesh, this scarring is extensive. Way more than any random law official would ever have. Sorry, I'm just reading this again. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin above and below. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop. Oh, I see what they mean. They did it so quickly that this marking did not have time to, well, not appear. Because when you're dead, well, obviously when you're dead, when there's a very fresh dead body, like just a couple minutes ago, you have very limited time to make certain changes to the body to change it to something else. In this case, like a hanging. So they did it so quickly that if we did not know he was already dead, we would have thought he was just hanged. That is interesting.
Mm-hmm. We have a real museum here. Of battles, wars. Last item. Hands.
He takes the man's right hand in his, inspects it, then moves on to the other.
Hands are clean. No sign of a recent struggle.
Were we expecting any?
Not particularly. Him being dead when they carried him over.
It is very hard to struggle when you're dead. Death is the end of struggle.
Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
Internal examination.
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
He says, then concludes abruptly, I have nothing. Like, I am not looking in.
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
If I may add the moral of this story?
What would that be?
He looks at you inquisitively.
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
Well, the brain is very vulnerable to compromises in its blood supply.
I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer.
The lieutenant grins. Alright, I'll write NA then.
Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old house at night.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable. Respiratory system.
Back hunched, as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. He stops to exert more force. Both hands are used.
Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight in that mouth of his.
Yeah, let's just not do that. Oh dear.
Hepatobiliary. NA.
He wipes his brow. Why? Don't we have anything?
Are you a hepatobiliary expert?
He looks at the corpse's stomach with a mixture of tiredness and disgust. Oh, biliary. Okay, I know what it is now. Sorry. I was like, what's a hepatobiliary? No, the final part of the word, biliary. The stomach, the bile ducts, the stomach area. Yeah. No.
Hepato means liver, and biliary, the gallbladder and bile ducts.
I don't think so.
Neither am I.
Alright then.
Same for toxicology and serology. NA.
Both?
Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there?
Reservoirs? No, but do they take obscure trivia and odd tidbits?
Would obscure tidbits and odd trivia fit the fields?
No.
Fair enough. Though, the completionist in me does wonder if there's something we can still do.
Like a toxicology screening? At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if he was brimming with cocaine. But still, you should add a request.
Fair enough. NA, toxicology requested.
Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging. Gastrointestinal.
He breathes a sigh of approaching relief. This is the last field on the list. He looks around, to the ground, to the pool of feces there.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila.
He touches the corpse's bloated lower abdomen. Briefly.
What's next on the list?
A description of the injuries.
Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too.
Be thorough if you want maximum results.
Alright, let's see. Bite marks, huh. I'm interested to know what those are.
Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer?
Beneath the description, there are 2 boxes waiting to be ticked. My opinion? Pretty much yours, like yours says, non-fatal post-mortem.
Agreed. Next injury?
The contusions.
So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury. A A stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
At maximum velocity, fucko!
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
The lieutenant's admission has caused great gratitude in Kuno. He is silent with it. Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath, the description of injury. 2 boxes.
Non-fatal post-mortem.
Right. Next.
Well, actually, before we continue, you mentioned of the 4th injury field here. What is that supposed to be for?
Nothing. Just in case.
Oh. Oh, okay.
The corpse lay slouched to the side, oblivious to its surroundings. The field autopsy form describes his state in 3 parts.
I thought that was taking me to a different section. Never mind.
Alright.
Yes. We done that already.
If you want maximum results.
Alright, and the ligature mark.
A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible.
You know, normally, if we did not know what we knew now, I honestly would have said this was an opinion fatal injury. However, we've done so much investigating before looking at the body, we know better that this is non-fatal post-mortem. Wow, this is tricky right here. Really, it's just by cursory glances like, we think this is no. This is non-fatal post-mortem. We even have a witness to when he died. Non-fatal post-mortem.
That's right. No clawing marks on the neck, no signs of struggle on the wrists. A witness statement from the perpetrators confirms. Wound is post-mortem. Treatment. That's it. Field autopsy done, detective. All that remains is to see if the alleged cause of death, the bullet, is truly lodged in his brain. I'll leave that to you, colleague. Or to processing. I won't force you in there.
Oh yeah, finally. Let's get in there.
Seriously, I can just back him and drive him to the morgue anytime you tell me to. No need for heroics, unless you want to.
Well, let's first, look at this. Oh god, please don't do that. No, let me see. Oh my god. That's so stupid. Why are you moving the thing down there? Move it up. Jesus, perception very high. 14, we know there's a bullet in there. It's like, okay, that just obliterates everything. Legendary 14. Well, we got 14 already. Didn't establish probable cause, which is fair. Titus mentioned a wound. We know there's a bullet in there, so just dive right in. It completely destroyed the legendary check. So, there's only one way to lose. And if I lose, I will scream. I really would.
Your arms and your eyes close, as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. You feel cold, slippery flesh, first with your fingertips, then under the palm of your hand.
Oh, would you look at that? That is... Oh, we destroyed this skill, destroyed it. Even if it weren't a crit roll, we destroyed it. Oh my goodness. My total is 32, and the benchmark is 14. That's over double. Anyway, I was too busy gloating. I didn't hear what he said. Your arm reaches out and your eyes close, as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. You feel cold, slippery flesh. First with your fingertips, then under the palm of your hand. Oh, that's so disgusting. Here we go. Oh, God. I mean, it's a crit success, so it shouldn't be too terrible.
His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat, swollen lips, like a spider. Your hand crawls over his features. Everything is silent.
In his mouth. For the bullet. Well, then again, it could have traveled through his brain a little bit, so that's fair, I suppose.
The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a scallop.
Wait with it. This feels right. No, let's not do that. Oh my god. Let's have some respect for the recently deceased, okay? Regardless of who he was in life, let's have some respect. Let's play with his tongue. Oh my god. No, that is fine. Let's just open our eyes and actually take a look at what we're doing.
A vision of black and dark red death, pried open by your naked hands and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing. Death fumes rising from the throat, and there, in the back of his mouth, above the bell of the uvula, right in the soft palate, you see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost vanished. No larger than 0.4 centimeters in radius, the edges appear darkened. An abrasion collar. This is what we're after.
An abrasion collar.
Abrasion collar.
The lieutenant looks in. There's a pen in his hand. His notebook is open at the copy paper.
Kuno is silent. A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat from the wound. Your index fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in, you reach through his mouth, right into his brainstem.
The fuck is happening?
Wait, where was he shot? Was he shot in his open mouth? I thought he was shot in the back of his head. Was he shot in his mouth? And it was probably mentioned and I just forgot when we did that matrix check a long time ago. But really, this whole time I thought he was shot in the back of his head. Well, then again, Kim would have just said now, bullet wound on the back of his head. Oh, that is some shot then. It's like in the midst of passion, head back, mouth open, and a bullet goes right into the mouth, into the brain. It's like, that is a shot. No, really, that is a shot. Wow. That's something you only write in a book or in a video game like this. It's like one in a lifetime shot. I take the shot, head. Oh, he moved back. Well, he's still dead. We just shot him right in the mouth.
Ah, shit, see?
The basal ganglia feels clumpy. The bullet has torn apart his reptilian complex. This man will never sleep again. Never wake. Your fingers slide into the remains of his limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structures are damaged too. The tearing extends deep into both hemispheres.
Oh god, this is actually rather disgusting. It really is. Oh god.
This is what he used to regulate his emotions with.
The cavity is here, cut right between the hemispheres.
The lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen on paper.
Fucking cavity, see?
Kuno's voice is hushed.
Quivering with awe. Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide enough for the rest of your hand to follow.
Oh god. You know, in a very, very sick, twisted way. And this is just how my mind works, okay? This is not how it works 100% of the time, but it kind of skews a bit my mind. This is in a very dark, morbid, disgusting way, almost sexual. It's like a cavity, putting a finger in there, just sticking it in, 2 fingers wide, wriggling, going a bit deeper. It is It has no right to sound sexual, and yet it does. It has no right to be that way. It really doesn't. Holy goodness.
Your fingers reach toward his skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly. Cold jelly. Strange fluid streams down your wrist as you push deeper until you feel it on the tip of your finger. Sharp, serrated material. The edges cut right into your skin. This must be the bullet.
Wait, am I doing this without a glove? Excuse me? Cuts right into my skin. I'm doing this without a glove. Dude, this is a wonderful way to get bloodborne diseases, not to mention you're touching a dead body. There's like hundreds of disease-ridden bacteria. Hundreds of thousands of disease-ridden bacteria in there. Millions. Oh, God, dude. Dude! Okay, I have a 6. Okay, that's literally a 3 or higher. Thank you. How do you get a bullet in that thin of a cavity, though?
You pick the sharp metal bullet between your index and middle finger. With your face twisting from pain and concentration, all you need to do is just...
I got it.
My pig's fucking got it.
What is it?
The inside of the head feels cold and smooth, like a glove. Sweat dripping down your brow. Careful not to lose the prize between your fingers.
How do you manage to get the bullet in there? That is like a super small cavity of area. Well, then again, it is kind of sludge-like, as you said in there. His brain is like just sludged out, but how? How? Like, how? I mean, I'm talking from practical knowledge of cavities that are not of a bullet wound kind. How? That's... I mean, I suppose it's possible, but... We're talking about a bullet wound, though. That's even tighter. Ugh, whatever. I can't imagine getting a bullet out like that. I really can't. I can't. Not with your bare hands, at least. Well, with some kind of medical instrument, yes, maybe. But with your bare hands, I can't see it happening. I really can't.
With a plop, your hand emerges from the mouth, covered in blood, up to the wrist. Between your fingers, a small flower, a blossom made of lead.
That's a poetic way of saying a bullet. That really is a poetic way of calling it a bullet.
Fucking beautiful!
A bullet.
The lieutenant puts a small bag marked evidence under it.
The bullet falls in the bag, leaving a smattering of blood on the plastic. He raises the bag under his eyes and says,
A non-caliber. Rifled. Some kind of brittle alloy. Fractured on impact.
Keep it, Lieutenant. As a gift.
No, you deserve it. We can log it later.
The lieutenant drops the bag in your bloody hand. It feels light. Oh, actually, thank you, Kim. Actually, really, thank you so much. Really?
We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. Oval entry wound with an abrasion color. Soft palate, back of mouth. High velocity. Temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. How does that sound?
Sounds like heaven.
Opinion, fatal injury.
This definitely concurs with the Hardy Boys' story. And Classier's.
And one last thing. We should amend injury number 3, ligament mark. Treatment. It's obvious the Hardy Boys tampered with it.
You think the bullet could hold more answers about this murder?
Yes, we should take a closer look at it. I am certain it has more to tell us.
This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it.
But first, I think I need to wash myself.
Oh, you really do. I am glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling in Rags should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening.
Right, so, what happens next?
We bag the corpse and carry him to the holding pen of my kinema. I can transport him to processing myself, but I will be gone for the rest of the day.
Gone? Then what am I supposed to do in the meanwhile?
Work on the case. Tend to personal matters. Try not to do anything too dangerous. An officer needs backup in a neighborhood like this. I'll leave that choice to you. And one more thing. Great work, detective.
After you bag the corpse, Lieutenant Kitsuragi will leave the party until tomorrow morning. You can do side tasks and even the main case, but it might be more difficult. Plan his exit accordingly.
Of course, of course. Very interesting that you're giving me this now. God. Well, first, I will figure out Inland Empire later. Actually, no, I will do that now, because I have slight bit of time. Thank you, autosave. You are freezing my game. Thank you thank you so much. Okay, anything that I can do to raise my Inland Empire, I know there are ways to do it, but again, I keep arguing about, I keep griping about this, but I want a button that helps me to separate out. Not separate, to filter out by what I want to look for, instead of just constantly going here, there, yada yada yada. What am I looking for again? Esprit Corps. You know, it would make it so much easier. It definitely would. And I might as well just take this, because it gives me extra shivers, so why the hell not? Do I really only have one thing that gives me Esprit Corps? Are you serious? Wow. Okay, that's fine. Does anything hurt my Esprit Corps? No. Okay, that's fine. Man, my ability to Esprit Corps this body is horrible.
The man is decomposing visibly now. Every hour, he looks less like a creature and more like a pile of intestines. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Alright, tell me. Who are you, dead man? 2, 4... 6, 7 or higher. That is about 50-50. Oh, good. Oh, good. I did it. Thank you so much, sir. I barely did it. Where have you gone?
Into the wild pale yonder.
And that would be?
In the past. Way out in the west.
What was that, pale yonder? Do you know what the pale is?
What's the pale?
The pale, Corporal. It spooks me out.
Why does it spook you out?
The corpse is silent. The nose in the middle of his face is swollen. So are his cheeks. His lips are motionless.
I can see that you're gone, but who are you?
I'm a joke. Look at me.
Huh, you are now, but who were you when you were alive?
A killer. A motherfucker. And a killer.
Huh.
Go ahead, Corporal.
What is happening?
What do you mean?
Well, for starters, I'm talking to you.
It's the power of your
Black frothy liquid starts bubbling on his lips.
imagination. Go ahead. Ask me more questions. You fucking love questions.
Well, since you seem to know a lot about me currently, why do I love questions so much?
Because you're a copperoonie. Look at all of them go. Do you want more questions?
Yeah, give me questions.
Here you go, you loony.
Why do I feel like I've forgotten something terrible?
Because you have.
Cool, thank you so much. You know, I'll be fair with you. I hate you right now. You stink, and as many questions as I'm asking you, you're giving me very boring responses. You just a hateful thing right now.
Do I remind you of someone?
A child born with Muller's disease, harlequinism, grown up miraculously.
A child born with Muller's disease, harlequinism. What? A baby affected with harlequinism.
You sure we got out of that one? Coppellini.
Shh. Enough.
Come back later, Corpo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If possible, also, see me in your dreams.
I got so lost on this because that's totally not what he said. I'm like, Memento Mori? What? When did we cross over into Dead by Daylight? It's like, that is totally not what he said. I was like, huh? What am I reading? What am I hearing? Because I was reading something different than what he was saying, I was having a slight hard time understanding what he was saying. It's like, and then Memento Mori. It's like, oh, we're in Dead by Daylight now. Tell me something, dead man.
Shoot, Looney.
Never mind, tell me
Come
nothing.
back later, Corpo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If possible, also, see me in your dream.
Okay, this time it makes sense, and then this one is like, no, and then it goes to the, okay, that's odd. Bye! Have a good time! Oh, what is this check we can do? Oh god. Oh!
Derealization.
Yeah, jamais vu. I forgot about this.
Jamais vu. The opposite of deja vu. Not already seen, but never seen. Everything that should be familiar appears strange and new, like some half-forgotten day in your childhood. Only now. That's the feeling you've been having. And for who knows how long. You should go and ask Joyce Messier about this. What world are we in? This is a fundamental question.
Didn't I already ask her about that, though? Or is that where I got Je m'avoue? Hey! 1 XP for every orb? That's cool. That's actually not bad. I could have used that a long time ago, because I clicked a lot of orbs, I'm sure. All intellect learning caps raised by 1. Okay. That's not bad, that's not bad. And since I'm here, and oh my god, I got so much experience. I got 7 points. You know what? Let's do this now. Because I did want... Where are you? God, I still have so many things here. Jesus. That's a lot of things. Jesus. No, I don't want Wumpty Dumpty. There we go. The apricot chewing gum scented one. I would love to know where this thought is going to take me. So, let's do it. I am actually running out of spaces, though. I really am. Oh boy, I'm running out of thoughts. Unlock. Yes, please. And we shall do apricot chewing gum scented one. In 5 hours, we'll get it done. And by 5 hours, I mean... Can I please get out of here? 21:25. 9:25. That's not too far away. Cough, cough. And we also have a bullet. But... unfortunately, I am running out of time, so we will examine this bullet at a different time. And at the same time, also have a nice conversation with Classier. Tell her that the body is finally down, that he can get the respect he deserves. Unless she wants to see him actually carted away, and then that's a different story, but yeah, shrug. I do kind of want to get this body away now, but I kind of want those boots. God, what am I doing? I just said to respect the body after, like, don't play with the tongue, and here I am going to be a corpse looter. Jesus. What am I doing? Later, everyone.